Hello everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Inspiration Collaboration Design Team Mystery Envelope Challenge. This month, Katie sent out the mystery envelope and she's included DSP swatches from Cute as a Bug, and she did a whole bunch of die cutting of all these cute little bugs from the DSP pattern papers. So we have lots of bugs to choose from, and then a few that I could fussy cut, and then also some of the Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes, along with some cloud cover ribbon. So let's take a look at some of the patterns here. So there are cut apart pocket cards. Also, there's a 12 by 12 that you can cut apart, and then lots of different patterns that have all the bugs and different scenes on them, and then some berries and leaves. Okay, so Katie's rules are create a scrapbook layout using Cute as a Bug paper and die cuts and include all of the following elements. At least 3 different bugs, and these are the bugs that she die cut for us to use. One interactive element such as a flip flap, hidden journaling, pocket spinner, or pull out. So I have flip flaps here. These are the 3x4, and I'm going to do some hidden journaling with that. And then layer it up with a minimum of 5 paper or cardstock layers and a playful title, and include a pun or fun phrase. So let's get these out of the way, and I'm going to show you the pictures I'm going to scrapbook. So these are my dogs, and they're all snuggled in and ready for this cold weather that we're having this weekend. This is Pixel, and she poked her head out from under the blanket, and I snapped her picture real quick, and Roisin. And so I did a title, Snug as a Bug. So I cut these from the alphabet a la mode, and I cut 3 layers. This is with Blackberry Bliss, and I glued them all. I layered them and glued them all together so the letters are more like chipboard. So that's my title, and we can go ahead and get started. So my base is going to be very vanilla, and this is the light side of very vanilla. It's a 2-tone cardstock, and I'm going to do a frame in Blackberry Bliss. So it'll look something like that. So I don't want to waste all this Blackberry Bliss paper, so I'm going to gut it. And I think you've seen me, if you've watched some of my videos, you've seen me gut on camera. So I'll just get started here and show you real quick, but then I'll do the rest of it off camera. So I'm going to put this in my trimmer, and over on the right side there's a 2-inch mark. I'll do a 2-inch border, and then just take your blade and drop it down at the 2-inch mark that's marked on the runner for your blade, and then take it down to 10 inches and stop. And then turn your card, drop your blade, take it down to 10 inches, and turn your card stock again. So you'll be cutting that square out of the middle, and you can use it for something else. Okay, so I've butted the 2 pieces of vanilla up against each other. So I'm working with a roughly 12 by 24 base. And let's go ahead and choose some papers. So lots of busy papers. So you calm them down by using a basic design like this greenery. I do like the berries and the little bumblebees, and then I like this plaid as well. So I'm thinking I'm going to use those 3 patterns, and that way I can use lots of bugs. So I think my picture plays off nicely with that green as a base. Okay, So I'm going to go to my stash and get some larger pieces. So this plaid, I'm just going to use small bits and do some strips of the plaid. And then this berry paper, I want to do a banner that goes vertically. Okay, so now I need to look for another pattern paper to mix in with these. So I do like this one. So since my base is very vanilla, I don't want to mix that other flowered paper or this peach colored paper because it's mixed. The base with that pattern is white. So I want to stick with a vanilla base. And I'm just taking a look at all of these patterns, pulling the larger pieces I need. And off camera, I went ahead and glued everything down and set up my base with my Blackberry Bliss frame. And then I also cut these greenery pieces for my photos. Okay, so we have one larger one for the 5x7 photo, and then one so I can line up my 3x4 photos. I also cut some mats for my photos in very vanilla, just to make it kind of a break and give it more of a frame between the greenery and my photo. And then we'll set up these three on the right page. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in, this is the Mixed Up Patterns collection. And if you're familiar with Close to My Heart, they always had a collection called the Mix-Ins. And this collection, it features patterns that have all the different colors from the new released designs. So this one I've pulled a pretty basic pattern that has, it's a lightly colored floral that's distressed in Daffodil Delight. So, and I don't know if it used white as a base or vanilla, but it looks vanilla to me, so I'm going to use that. So just a real subtle pattern to kind of break things up, because I'm going to be bringing in lots of busy things. So let's go ahead and cut this down so it's 11 3/4 across. And then it'll go from side to side just on the vanilla. And then we'll take that green pattern paper and put it on top. So we'll layer that. Okay. Now let's bring in that berry paper. And I'm going to cut a strip that's going to be a banner. That's going to go right on the left side there. So I'm kind of deciding how wide I want this strip to be. At first I was thinking 2.5. We'll look at the measurements there. I think 3 inches is going to be good. So we'll go ahead and cut a 3-inch strip. Be mindful of the direction of the pattern, because the bumblebees are flying at a certain angle on this pattern. So you want to make sure your bumblebees aren't upside down or sideways. So yeah. So we have that, and then I will trim off 1 inch and dovetail it off camera. And then I cut another strip to go over on my right page, right around there. So it's reflecting the same sort of layering as on the left page over on the right. Okay, now with this plaid paper, I'm just going to do some strips, busy patterns, small doses. So I'm going to cut 3 strips at 1/2 inch each. And I'll trim the length down later on. Let's go ahead and cut 3 of them. And then we'll add them to the layout. Okay, so we'll throw in one strip up here, and I'm going to cut it so it's the same length as the green paper. And then that one I'm going to cut so half of it's, or a portion of it's on the left page and a portion is on the right. And then we'll have that other strip down at the base of the green. Something like that. Okay, I'll get things glued down and trimmed up off camera. But first, let's bring the title in so that I'm sure it's going to fit. So it's going to rest along that plaid strip right down there. Okay, something like that. And then I'm going to shift everything up just a bit. Fuss with it just a little, and I'll do all my gluing off camera. Okay, so I dovetailed that piece on the left page to create a banner, and then I also did a real shallow banner for the right page. So this is the light side of Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to try something with this new die set. It's called Lovely Arrangements, and this design right here, I think I could use that as a border. So I'm going to cut several of those, and then I'm going to cut some circles from Spotlight on Nature. So I'll do that off camera. Okay, so this is the Lovely Arrangements die cut here, and I'm going to cut along and just cut one row of the circles off. And then I'm going to tuck them underneath the edge of this green pattern paper, and it looks like a scalloped border. So I'm just going to continue cutting more of these strips of circles, and then I'll tuck them underneath and layer them so that I have a scalloped border all along this green pattern paper. A little bit fussy, but once I start gluing, I'll get it. And then I'll show you one more. Okay, so this one, I'm only going to need 3 circles. So I'm going to cut the end, and then I'll layer one of the circles on top of the other circle so that it's the right length. And it'll fit nicely. That works. So I'll scooch everything down and make it fit. And then I will do the same thing for the right page. We'll skip ahead. And so I have a scallop border over on the right side there. Okay. And then I cut a few circles out of the Daffodil Delight cardstock. We'll bring them in. And they will be a base so that I can do some embellishment clusters. So we'll put one up there, maybe one there, we'll see. And then another on the right page so that we can create our visual triangle. At first I was thinking I wanted to use a blackberry bliss, but it didn't work. So yeah, stick with the same color. Okay. All right. Then I think maybe I'm going to move that smaller circle, and I'll just use half of it up there. And then we'll put a bug over on the right page. So I'm going to cut one of these smaller Blackberry Bliss circles in half and use that as a base for my bug. And I think that works. Okay. All right, so I have popped my two 3x4 pictures over on the left and the right with dimensionals. And then the one in the center is going to have the flip flap on top of it. So I glued it directly to the page instead of popping it. We'll tuck that circle under there. And then on the left page, I popped that with foam tape as well. Get all this glued down. And then I'll bring my bugs in. They're all so cute. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to use that ribbon. The cloud cover doesn't really go. But I have lots of bugs to work with here. So we got this bumblebee and some flowers. So I'm just going to create a few little scenes. I love this one, this little guy that's reading a book. We have that bug, and then I'm going to wind up fussy cutting one bug from the pattern papers. So we have a little flower and then a watering can. So the bumblebee can be watering the flower. They're so cute. And then we'll move this guy over here and create a little scene right there. Okay, we'll add some mushrooms over by the other bug. All right, so get all that glued down. Now I'm going to create a journaling spot. So this set is called Address to You. So I'm going to use these flowers and the lines. And I just have a piece of very vanilla cut at 3x4. And I'm going to put this inside my flip flap. But I want to have something to write on. So I'm going to ink this up with Old Olive and create a little journal card. I'll do my journaling off camera. And then I'll do another set of lines. And then we can tuck that in the flip flap. Okay, so these are the 3x4 flip flaps. And if you're familiar with the Close to My Heart flip flaps, they're made by the same company and sold by from Stampin' Up. So I'll put a link in the description below. So we'll go ahead and add this to the flip flap, and I like to attach my flip flaps to the top of the page protector. So I'll just slide it in the sleeve until they're ready, until my pages are ready to go in my album. Now I'm deciding which 3x4. I like that one, but I wanted choices, so thought I'd try this one, but nope. I like that one because it's got the vanilla background and I just think it goes better. So that will sit there like that. And then to finish it off, these are the Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. So the ladybugs all come in one size, and we'll scatter some of those around. And then there are some clear dots, and they come in two sizes, and they kind of look like water droplets. So yeah, they're pretty cool. It's hard to see them on camera here, but in real life, they look really cool. So I'll scatter a whole bunch of those around, and then I'll pull the layout closer to the camera. So I will put still shots of this layout over on my socials. The links are in the description below, and also put them at the bottom of your screen. And a playlist I'll add to the end of this video along with a link in the description below. Just hit the more button and you can find all that information. And make sure you check out the playlist to see all the other videos from the other Inspiration Collaboration Design team members and see what they've done with this Cute as a Bug collection. And then my flip flap will work like that. And that's my layout. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would sure appreciate it. And then you'd be able to find all of my videos. And thanks for watching.